Hello everyone, it's group 2. So today we will show the end of course reflection postcards. My name is Wei Zixuan. Today let me first introduce key takeaways and practical applications. So to be honest, before this course, I thought leadership was mostly think about people in higher positions, like principals or higher teachers. But now I see leadership in a much broader way. So it's about people who make a positive impact, no matter what their role is. So I will talk about the three big ideas that are really stood out to me. And for each one, I will also explain how I would apply it in practice, whether as a teacher, team members, and maybe even a future leader one day. So there is a key takeaway number one. Leadership is about influence, not just authority. So you don't need a title to be lead. And you can lead just by being someone others trust, someone who supports the team, and someone who sets a good example. So first, for example, I could be the kind of teacher who helps new staff just, or share helpful teaching tips with others. That's leadership too, even without a fancy job title. Second, the key takeaway number two, transformational leadership drive to change. So, which is about inspiring change and helping others grow. That really spoke to me because I think schools should be places of growth for both students and teachers. So in the future, I'd love to be the kind of educator who encourages new ideas, tries creative teaching method, and helps build the team where everyone feels heard and motivated. That kind of energy is contagious, and it leads to a real progress. There's a key takeaway number three. So leadership requires ethic and collaboration. So this third idea is that good leadership always includes ethical decision making and collaboration. So in school, that means thinking about what is fair, what is inclusive, and what makes sure all voices are considered, especially those are often left out. So even I ever have to make a tough decision, I want to make it by listening first for students, teachers, even parents, and thinking about what's truly best for the whole community, not just what is earliest or fastest. So there are my personal reflection. The leadership is a mindset, not a title. I used to think leadership was only for people in high positions. Now I understand that leadership can happen at any level, as long as you are influencing others positively. So leadership is not about control, it's about connection, purpose, and helping others grow. So this changed how I see myself as someone who can lead from where I am. What I gained personally. So I became more confident in sharing ideas and collaborating with others. I learned to listen more and think from different perspectives, including students and colleagues. I discovered how important it is to act with fairness and empathy, not just efficiency. So most importantly, I'm now more motivated to keep learning and growing as an educator or a leader. So in summary, what I've really learned is that leadership is not just a title, it's a mindset. So whether I'm in the classroom, in a meeting, or working with others, it can be leading by supportive, thoughtful, and open to change. And in the future, I hope to bring those values into my work, to influence with care, lead through collaboration, and grow together with others. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Dr. Kenny. Hello, everyone. I'm Liu Lili. Welcome to my podcast about education leadership. Today, I will share what I learned in class, my reflection, and how I use this knowledge in the future. To begin with, let's talk about one of my key takeaways, the traits of leadership. First, courage is important. When things get difficult, leaders don't run away. Instead, they step up and find solutions. Then, willpower is like the engine of a leader. It helps them keep doing. Even when they fail, they don't give up easily and keeps push forward to reach their goals. Another trait, like good communication, knowledge, and honesty, are the foundation of leadership. Leaders need to clearly tell their team what to do and listen to others. Lastly, a visionary outlook helps leaders see the big picture. They set goals for the picture and encourage others to follow. Those traits make someone a leader. Another key takeaway is learning-focused leadership. In university, the most important is learning. This means creating a culture where teachers and students always learn together. As in Finland, teachers meet weekly to share ideas and improve their classes. This style helps teachers work as a team. If all math teachers meet to discuss why students struggle with math, they can share the better lessons plans. That's how school gets better. It also uses the data like test scores to make smart decisions. Next, I will share my personal reflections that leaders are made, not born. Before this class, I thought leader was born special, but then I studied Malala Yousafzai. He was not born a leader. She became one by fighting for girls' education. When she was young, he started speaking out against unfair rules. Over time, he learned to lead by helping others. That showed me anyone can be a leader. Another big lesson is there is not big ways to lead. Leaders should change their leadership style based on specific cases. For example, if I'm training a new teacher, I might need to give clear steps like do this first. But if I work with an experienced teacher, I can say, what's your idea and support them. About my intended application, I want to be a teacher and a leader in education in the future. Here is how I use those lessons. For transformational leadership, I will inspire the students by making classes fun. Maybe start a science club where we do cool experiments. For distributed leadership, I work with other teachers. We can start groups where we share the lesson plans every month. For learning-focused leadership, I'll never stop learning. I'll ask students for feedback and join workshops to get better at teaching. Also, I could use the ICT to make decisions based on data, like cooking which teaching method work best and building a learning community. In a word, this class taught me that leadership isn't about being born special. It's about growing, adapting, and helping others. Whether I'm leading a class or working with colleagues, I'll remember anyone can be a leader with practice. Whether in the classrooms or a school, I hope to lead with kindness, courage, and a love for learning. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you, dear Dr. Kenny. Wish you all the best.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Zhang Yingge. This semester, the Education Leadership course has truly changed the way I understand what it means to be a leader. When I first started this course, I thought leadership was mostly about power, decision making, and being in charge, as, as I learned more, I realized it's really about something much deeper: vision, influence, and people. To me, leadership is no longer about title or authority. Instead, I now see leadership as the ability to inspire, to empower others, and to adapt to different situations. One phrase that really stayed with me is leadership is a message, not a little. That one line completely shifted how I see leadership in education and in life. There are several leadership series from the course that really helped me see leadership from different angles. Transformation leadership, for example, taught me how a powerful vision can move people. Leaders like Steve Jobs or Lee Kuan Yew were more than decision makers, they were uh, visionaries in education. This this could mean leading a school to embrace innovation or shift toward student-centered learning. Situation leadership helped me realize that good leaders must adjust their style depending on the context and the people they are working with. It's not about always being directive or always being supportive, it's about being flexible. I was also inspired by disturbed leadership, which emphasizes collaboration. The idea that leadership is not just for the person at the top, but is something shared across a team, made me think differently about how I might work with uh, college in the future. Finally, an unsick leadership reminded me that leadership isn't just about being effective, it's about doing the right things. The case we discussed about collaboration in schools really made me reflect. Greater leaders must have integrity, especially in education. So how will I apply all of this? First, I want to lead with empathy and purpose. Whether I become a lead teacher, an academic, or working education policy, I want to focus on understanding people's needs. Second, I hope to create or contribute to collaborative learning cultures like PLCS, whether teachers support each other and grow teacher. And finally, I want to be the kind of leader who can adapt to change. With AI, detailed education, and globalization changing everything, I want to stay open-minded, learning continuously, and lead with authentic, authenticity. This course didn't just give me leadership series, it helped me think about the kind of leader I want to become. Thank you for your listen. Bye.
Now it's my part. My name is Wen Shaohan and my student number is 240687771. My topic is leadership lessons I didn't know I needed but definitely do. When I first heard the word leadership, I imagined someone standing at the front of a room with a laser pointer confidently saying things like synergy and vision. But guess what? Leadership isn't about being the boss. It's about influence, motivation, and guidance. Even if you are only 50% sure where you are heading, it's like driving a school bus with no GPS but trying to look calm so the students don't panic. Real leadership is showing up, offering direction, and quietly asking yourself, wait, am I even in the right bus lane? And some people think leaders are born, others say they are made. Personally, I think most of us are pushed by circumstance, by group projects, or a colleague who says, let's just wing it. But through this course, I have learned leadership is like cooking. Yes, ingredients matters, but timing, pressure, and occasional kitchen fire matter more. Leadership isn't perfect, it's messy, it's human, and sometimes it's just showing up with snacks and a pen. And now let's talk structures. In schools, we love our hierarchies, but distributed leadership that changed how I see things. It's like a group project, but where everyone actually does their part. Teachers share decision making, students feel heard, and the principal get fewer stress, include headaches. It's not about who's in charge, it's about how we work together. And as I learned, a shared leadership doesn't mean chaos, it means capacity. And now at the fun part, change. Change in schools is like rearranging desks while the students are still sitting in them. We studied Cotter's 8 steps rule in 3 stages, both useful, both slightly terrifying. Cotter says start by creating energy. This that easy, just announce a surprise quiz. Loin says unfreeze, change, rephrase. I say it sounds more like making popsicles than managing people. But whether you are changing a policy or switching to digital homework, and leadership means helping people through uncertainty with empathy and coffee. Then came the futuristic bit AI in school. Yes, ChatGPT is here, and no, it's not going to replace teachers, but it might save them for drawing and grading. Still, leadership in the digital age isn't about using every tool, it's about choosing wisely. AI can get us, support us, maybe even write our emails, but it can't replace the caring concerns conversation or a teacher who just gets it. So as leaders, we need to ask, are we using tech to enhance humanity or escape it? Next part, let's get a little philosophical. One of the most memorable class moments, the lost wallet. Scenario: a student finds a wallet in the hallway. What should they do? Your moral says one thing, school values say another, the rules say turn it in, and the law says don't steal it or you are in trouble. Suddenly, leadership becomes moral decision making. It's about guiding people to do the right thing, even when no one watching, especially then. And at this point, I realized there's no one-size-fits-all leader. You might be a transformational leader full of passion and change, a servant leader focused on supporting others, or a situational one just trying to survive today. But great leadership, as I've learned, is about asking better questions, not having perfect answers, and more importantly, listen deeply, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the best leaders don't talk the most, they listen the best. So, what did I learn from this course? Leadership isn't a role, it's a relationship. It's the courage to act, the heart to listen, the humility to keep learning. And sometimes it's just knowing when to stop talking and hand the mic to someone else. And that's my part. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackson. So here I'm to reflect my insights gained over the past 15 weeks of lesson of exploring this subject called educational leadership. So here's my first key takeaway, which is about the essence of a great leader. So we have learned that a great leader isn't just someone in the position of power, but it should be someone who can influence others positively by showing a clear vision to motivate the team to achieve their common goals. So these great leaders are defined by their ability to actively listen to others, build trust, and also they can lead by example by showing integrity and empathy. So a true great leader is they will also foster growth in others by recognizing their strength and also to nurture their development. While sometimes we note that some of the leaders they might possess some charisma or being visionary, great leaders are largely made through their experiences. So some of the traits that we can observe, like resilience, it allows them to never give up easily, and also strategic thinking, as we can see in Lee Kuan Yew's pragmatism, is actually cultivated and improved through continuous learning and overcoming different challenges. So, in one of my case study about Nelson Mandela, despite he was in prison for 37 years, but he had never gave up of his vision of justice and equality. So eventually, he's able to lead South Africa through a peaceful and democratic transition. My second key takeaway is about the power of collaborative leadership. So, distributed leadership is not just a theoretical concept, it's a practical, effective, and efficient model which leadership itself is shared among various members of an organization rather than just resting it on one individual. So, in the school context, this approach is very important because it helps to cultivate a culture that values creativity and collaboration. So, to ensure different voices are being heard and it will lead to a more impactful initiatives for the students. So crucially, distributed leadership it promotes a stronger sense of belonging among the teachers so that it can significantly reduce the burnout by fostering shared ownership and also to recognize teachers' collective ability to influence the student outcomes. However, if we want to implement distributed leadership in schools, I think that mutual trust and transparency are very important, and responsibilities must be clearly defined to avoid any confusion. So, this model is important for creating a positive working culture in schools, as we can see in some of the examples like educational reforms in Finland. My third key takeaway is about navigating 21st century challenges. So one of the important aspects is about the ethical usage of AI and to integrate it in learning. So we have to move beyond by just simply acknowledging AI's presence, but we also have to teach students how to embrace it in teaching and learning activities. So um, we are using AI for higher order thinking skill rather than just asking the students to blindly relying on it. Teachers ourselves, we also need to highlight the unique human skills that AI doesn't have, for example, creativity and innovation. And secondly, improving school cultures is also very important for any progress. This will require the school leaders to incorporate a positive climate into daily activities, building trust and also collaboration among the staff, being open to feedback and consistently recognizing the efforts of both students and teachers. For example, organizing PLC, professional learning communities, is an excellent way to encourage the idea of sharing. And eventually, we also text, effective communication, conflict resolution important. So to implement this in future on a personal level, we are committed to continuous self-development, okay, as a leader. So which means we have to continue working on the resilient part to ensure myself is will remain determined with a clear vision even though when facing challenges. So it's also important to embody the concept of integrity and empathy in daily actions, leading by example and foster growth in those around me, and also to refine my strategic communication and conflict resolution skills to understand their vital role in uniting people and also to navigate in complex situations. In institutional, I believe we have to actively champion distributed leadership by fostering a culture where responsibilities are shared, trust is important, and also to ensure everyone's voice are being heard, eventually reducing burnout and enhancing collective impact. We also need to be at the front line of ethical AI usage to guide the students to use it carefully and to how to use it to enhance their learning without jeopardizing their critical thinking or undermining the human nature. And eventually, we also have to strive to nurture a true positive school culture by consistent practices, encourage feedback, celebrate their achievement, and also to ensure a supportive and inclusive environment. So all these steps, including blending vision, compassion, resilience, and collaboration, these are very